let's go back to the basics. Let's all learn how to be good traders. And first of all, let's understand what is an indicator and how they affect price, and what is an oscillator and also how they affect price. Basically, another name that you can refer to an indicator is, or you can use for an indicator is root signs, right? So, and another name you can use for an oscillator is like your Google Maps. So what are the advantages of your road signs? Your road signs are accurate, of course. They are telling you the distance that you need. If you're making a journey, the distance that they say you can cover. If you see a road sign that says 10 kilometers up ahead, that's 10 kilometers up ahead. That's the distance. So first of all, they are accurate, but one of the disadvantages is they don't update you as to whether what's going on. Let's say if there's 10 kilometers up ahead and there's an accident or there's a congestion or there's a traffic, your road signs can't literally give you that update because it's fixed. It's just doing its work. It's a road sign. It's the data that you are using to travel, but again, like I was saying earlier in the other video, you are not doing enough or you don't have enough information. Even though this information is crucial or this data is crucial or it's important pertaining to your journey, is it enough? It's not enough. So if you are trading on just your road signs, you realize that you are not using enough information. So the disadvantages is it doesn't update, it doesn't give you real time insights. So it's like you're limited. You're limited based on what you know, based on what is performing. That is telling you the distance covered. That's all. Nothing more, nothing else. Then we have another version of data gathering. How do you call it? Algorithms, which I call them which we call the oscillators, but I normally also refer to them as your Google Maps. I mean, we're all trying to learn about technology, but we can know the basics. And one thing that you can realize that there's a big difference between your road signs and your Google Maps. I mean, if you're using a Google Maps to travel, especially if you're using Uber or something like that, you could realize that there is less struggle. You understand, like in terms of determining the direction to a place that you've never been to. If I'm going to, let's say I'm traveling to a place that I've never been to, I can literally use my Google Maps to, and I might not really care about whether I'll get missing or not because I know my Google Maps is giving me actual direction or real-time insights into the very direction. You understand? So it's like my Google Map could be much more preferable than my road signs. You understand? Like your road signs are essential. But once I start using my Google Maps, I will then take my Google Maps as my primary reference data in terms of traveling. That's the same way I'm trying to think about trading. If you are trading, it's like you are traveling, but you need data to make your decisions or your entries. But if your data or what you're using to make your entries are not enough, you understand? Even though you're making entries, it's not enough because what is backing the entry is not enough. Then you have to use another data that is more or less like much more significant. That has enough significance, right? So the advantages of Google Maps are like they give you real-time data. It's just insight. So basically, once it gives you real-time insight, you don't have to worry about the travel. Again, once you have real-time insight with your trading, you don't have to struggle. Then you now belong to the 10% who are winning much more of their trades because right now you have insight. It's the insight that determines whether somebody is I wouldn't say a skill trade, but I mean the insight gives you a leverage. It gives you an upper hand. You need insight to have an upper hand on the market. If you don't have insight, it's just comparing the smart money versus the dumb money. The smart money has the insight, the dumb money doesn't have insight. So it's like the same way when it comes to trading. If you're having a smart advantage in terms of insight, then you have an upper hand. If you don't have insight, you don't have an upper hand. So once you have an upper hand, then you harness on your skills, then you build yourself to become a profitable trader. That's all. So the script that I would recommend is what I call Market Cipher. This is the script that I use to trade. It literally gives you insight because it has algorithms that gives you insight. You understand? So one of the basic ones that we all know is the road signs, and these are just road signs. This is what most people think trading is all about. You understand? That's the raw misconception, is like to think that this is just enough for you to base your trading decisions. That's not enough. So when you go to the chart, you can realize that these are the road signs, these are the road signs, these are the road signs. Sorry, these are the road signs, these are the road signs, these are road signs, these are road signs, these are road signs. But they are not enough, because I mean, if I'm just going to trade on road signs, or if I'm going to travel basically using road signs, I might get lost. You know, so even though I'm using them to travel, I might probably not make the journey very early if I was using my Google Maps, because Google Maps more or less gives me alternative routes. Use this route, use this route, use this route, use that route. Don't use this route. Avoid this road. There's a you know, it's not like it gives you upper hand, so that you as a driver, or you as probably somebody making that journey, you can have an alternative ways of not getting stuck in traffic. The same way when it comes to trading, you need upper hand on the market. You need to have real time on the insight on the market. Otherwise, somebody out there is going to outsmart you. You understand? Because you are playing with big players out there. So this is how Market Cipher B looks. Examples of oscillators or Google Maps. This is how they are. These are how Market Cipher B oscillators are. You realize that here is green, here is red, here is blue, here is blue, yellow, and it's like there is a line that divides the green and the red. A line that divides that's the mediating line, more or less like your middle line, that divides the upper regions and the lower regions. The upper regions are your positives, and lower regions are your negatives. Positives, negative, positive, negative. Let's go to the drawing the chart. Then you realize that you see the same thing. This is Market Cipher B, up, down. Let's see money here. Money is green, it's red here. Let's see VWAP. VWAP came down, came up. So it's like there's a middle line, a zero line that divides the upper territories and the lower territories. Let's go back and see the same thing that happens here. So it's like they are oscillating up and down. That is money, momentum, and another alternative momentum VWAP. And these are your influential oscillators. These are your Google Maps. These are what is giving you real-time insight into the very direction of an asset. So these are what pushes price upwards. You understand? Price is not going up just because you saw root size. Making the journey is not about the root size per se. Price literally responds hugely based on the very direction of these oscillators, and that's how Market Cipher works. It gives you insight, and these are the insight. Liquid is one, momentum and VWAP. Once you have these things moving in accordance or moving in the same direction, price responds hugely, and you can use this as your supplementary decision makers, not necessarily your substantial or your primary decision makers. These are always subservient to these. It's a fact, because liquid is different from raw size. I mean, it's not like it's a fact. It's a fact. The fact is, liquid is what attracts most traders. Liquidity attracts traders. The Market Cipher represents liquidity using these oscillators. Momentum is one, and VWAP is another. These ones are important as well. But I'm saying, if you're making a journey just because of road signs, you know, you might not make your journey on time with a guy who is using a Google map. You understand? Because the guy with a Google map has insight much more. Even though we don't know the place that we are going, I might get to the destination very early than you, because I have an upper hand. That's how trading is. You need an upper hand. An upper hand on the market to decide or to decide your trading entries. If you don't have an upper hand, somebody has an upper hand on you, because people have different script of trading. The Market Cipher is by far the ultimate. To me, I think is the best trading script out there, without a doubt. And I'm not trying to sell you something here. I'm just basically telling you this is the difference between Market Cipher and other scripts out there. So this is just a basic overview. Let's talk let's all learn how to trade and understand how trading works. So until then, have a nice time, people.